Hello, I'm Felicity Cohen. I'm so excited to introduce you to my Wellness Warriors podcast. For over 20 years, I've been a passionate advocate for helping thousands of Australians find solutions to treating obesity and health-related complications through surgical intervention and holistic managed care. My podcast is dedicated to all the people, past, present and future, who have helped shape my journey and continue to inspire me to work consistently to achieve a healthier Australia in both adults and future generations. I hope you enjoy it.
Good morning, Adam. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Wellness Warriors podcast. So this morning it's my absolute great pleasure to introduce Adam Bowcutt, who's joining me for the Wellness Warriors podcast. Adam, you've had an amazingly interesting career pathway, but I'd like to start by discussing where your journey started way back when you were working in the area or very engaged in extreme sports, most specifically with snowboarding in your youth. At what age of your life were you starting to get really involved in that kind of sporting area?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity here. And it's interesting you say starting from the extreme sports arena, because I've recently had some surgery on my elbow, so I've pretty much just had in the last couple of weeks elbow reconstruction, and I'm healing up well. I'm a wellness warrior as well, so I'm building that back up. So we'll bring that back into the story as well. So where it did begin was from a young age, probably about 11 or 12. I was a skateboarder. I'd dreamed about skateboarding, and I would do it night and day from about 11 when I was 11 till about 14, 15. So that was my passion and my obsession, and that progressed into snowboarding and my love of extreme sports, specifically the action sports of snowboarding. Had an opportunity to go to Canada to train to become a snowboard instructor, so that I could merge making an income with actually snowboarding and being in the mountains every single day and sharing my passion with other people, teaching them. So that came about from the catalyst was a deep, dark depression where I was actually hospitalized for about a month from in a psychiatric ward in England when I was in my teenage years. So that's where it began, and that's where it leads me up to today, from there to now. But that's my introduction to snowboarding, and absolutely loved it. Did it for about 7 years, back-to-back winters from New Zealand to Canada, New Zealand, Canada. I had one summer in 7 years, so I absolutely loved it. I ended up competing, so going from an instructor to a trainer to a snowboard coach, pedagogue. I was coaching coaches how to coach, and then I ended up wanting to become as good as I can, compete at a very high level. So I ended up doing open invitations, open events where it's slope starts in the Olympics now. It wasn't at my time, but I was, I do amazing, awesome events, get out of my comfort zone, get massive air, do jumps. So that is where my extreme sports began.
I think it's fascinating that skateboarding is now also an Olympic sport. Yes.
Yeah, amazing. I would never have thought that. Absolutely amazing. And an Australian got gold, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so I think the progression from then to now, Olympics, even when snowboarding went into the Olympics, I thought that was amazing, great progression for the sport, opening it up to so many more people, and then skateboarding now as well. So yeah, perfect.
Do you think that you were someone who, obviously achieving at such a high level in sport, did you place a lot of pressure on yourself to perform, to achieve, to excel? And was that in some way connected to constantly pushing yourself to be better, do better? Was that linked in some way to then sinking into this really deep, dark depression?
Yeah, great question. It is linked in a way that internally how my mind worked, I didn't know at the time. However, in hindsight, I have more of an awareness and understanding of how my individual brain works. So it definitely was a part of it. There are positives and negatives. For example, the positives were that I put a healthy amount of pressure on myself to improve, so that I would be better, and every single day I would learn more. I put pressure on myself. Sometimes it would go past the extreme of being too much pressure, and then good in a way physically and learning but at the same time it was stretching my mind past the point of where it was healthy and well. So previously I didn't have that awareness. Now, in hindsight, now I do. So it's definitely linked. So and now I've got more of an awareness, and I can take action and have strategies to balance it, so it's healthy. But definitely in the past, it got to the stage where it was too much. Yeah, I was getting injured. I was taking too many risks. Even though extreme sports and action sports and snowboarding, you do take calculated risks.
I think we're far more in tune now with the need to provide mental health coaching services to those who are competing at elite sport level, whether it's a psychologist, a coach, or someone who's connected to that pathway to support them and to manage the mental health equation that is so significant. And I think often, maybe we forgot in the past that was a need for people performing at such an elite level. So hopefully now we are a lot more capable of providing that level of service. Do you think we've come a long way to support our elite sports people?
Massive way. It's like night and day. In the past, for example, as you touched on, Felicity, that there's skateboarding and snowboarding in the Olympics, and when in my time many years ago, that the thought of having a coach for snowboarding or skateboarding or even a psychologist or a performance coach, it was unheard of. However, now it is the norm, and it would be weird to not have one. So with regards to mental health, growth mindset, having a specific coach, having someone or a mentor or someone that can be that catalyst to help you is massively important. And yeah, we've definitely come a long way, and it's great to see.
I think so too, and I think it's such a significant leap in terms of where we're at now, how we accept the need to engage with psychologists and how they can support our mental health across all areas of life. So yeah, big leaps of progress there. And then at what stage did you decide that you wanted to take up studying psychology, sociology? When did that become a passion for you?
Yeah, so it actually happened previously before the action sports, extreme sports, snowboarding, and before I had my episodes of deep dark depression and multiple hospitalization. So in 2000 and I graduated 2001 from the University of Southampton and joint honours in sociology and psychology, and that came from my deep initial fascination with human beings and how they behave. And I, in the past when I was younger, I was fascinated. I didn't understand why myself and other people and how human society and how it worked and how people interacted with each other. I was fascinated by it, and I didn't understand, and I really wanted to learn and understand at a higher level why people acted the way they do, and so that's what drew me to it. And then I studied, and I found the combination between sociology and psychology a beautiful combination, because it's I found the methodical side of statistics and methods in psychology, which are really important to improve the scientific nature and social science of psychology. However, I found that a little bit off-putting in a sense where it was, I wouldn't use the word boring, but compared to sociology and social psychology, it didn't have that draw that I really needed and wanted. So the combination was perfect. So I really went into sports psychology, social psychology, and it really energized me to learn more about that. And what I did in the end, I did my dissertation, and my main area was martial arts and the influence of aggression. So I found all that fascinating, and that's where it started, and that's where the journey began. I say to people who are thinking about going to university or studying, it's once you do the university degree or that level, that is, once you've got that, it's just the beginning, and it opens up so much more to study and learn and apply, most importantly apply.
Did it help you with your own recovery through those deepest, darkest depression states that you were dealing with?
It did, and it didn't. Again, it's balancing it up, because it helped in a sense where I had a certain level of knowledge to help me at the same time, because of how mentally ill and unhealthy my mind and brain was. It was as if the information and knowledge I had was working against my recovery to a certain extent, because it was almost as if I was picking all the bad parts to focus on, because of how my understanding of depression and with regards to what I was experiencing. So it did on a certain part of the recovery, it didn't help. But then when I got to a certain level of healing, it really helped, because then I had more awareness, conscious knowledge, and expertise and understanding how I could help myself. So it's two ways. It's having that balance of support, self-awareness, and a catalyst, other people, and a support team, and doctors helping.
Okay. Was there a specific event or a moment in time that you can really pinpoint that was the catalyst for that depression that you experienced, and how did that kind of roll out over time? I know that you have experienced many episodes of hospitalisation to drive your recovery, and until you got there, you know that happened to you many times. Can you talk us through that?
Definitely. I had a realization fairly recently, actually, within the last 3 months, which is, again, any time with learning, developing, healing, social sciences, new knowledge comes in, and it helps to transition and improve learning. So a few months ago, I was seeing my regular psychologist, relatively new regular psychologist in Brisbane, absolutely amazing, and realised after doing an intensive fact finding with my history, discovered that instead of the diagnosis of clinical depression and major depression, which caused hospitalization 4 times, he's actually discovered that I've got bipolar. I did not even know that, and it made complete sense. I didn't even put the two things together. It's like lack of sleep causing mania, depression, like complete mood discrepancies. So that has caused a massive shift in viewing my past. Labels can be good and they can be bad as well, but at the same time, this was a healthy label. After the realization, I could have, if the doctors didn't miss that diagnosis, my trajectory of progression could have changed quite a lot. But at the same time, I've accepted it. It's in the past. So now that has definitely been a catalyst to where I am now. At the same time, I have taken on that knowledge from studying, from other people helping, from psychologists, from my family, from support, and even me writing my own book. It's almost like catharsis, helping other people to be able to improve my own journey, and in turn leading others to take their own take their own health into their own hands as well, have that sense of agency, in addition to other people helping. So it's all connected, and I'm so grateful now that I've been able to turn those 4 episodes, which have been so dark, so close to taking my own life, absolutely almost tragic, to turning it now to having so much energy, getting up every morning, doing podcasts and interviews, and writing a second book and helping others. It's absolutely amazing.
It's incredibly powerful when you've been there yourself, you've dealt and you've gone through this terrible phase of your life, but you're able to use that to empower you personally to take that to a stage where you're able to then help so many other people. And I think at this point in where we're at in the universe right now, there's many more people than ever before who do need mental health support, and especially when we're looking at things like suicide prevention. It is a really important subject to raise awareness of, to have more conversations, and to have more people who have the ability and the skill set like you do to be there, to reach out and to help so many more people. I think first of all, I think it's an incredible body of work that you're exposed to now, that you're involved with, and this is your career pathway to support and help others. I think it's such a massive need, and congratulations for taking this on. It's a big thing to do. I so get the cathartic kind of equation as well, that you're able to use this now and leverage your own personal experience. I also think the diagnostic issue is a big one, for so many people, that it's a big puzzle when you've got, for the professional healthcare workers, psychologists, psychiatrists, to actually pinpoint when it comes to mental health. And that diagnostic issue is sometimes there's a lot of grey areas. And so once you've actually got that point of they really know exactly what it is, and I'm sure they probably went through a number of definitions and labels before getting to, we actually think it's bipolar. Yes, you can be treated. You know that there's a treatment, there are options, there are solutions, and it does give you such a huge move forward approach, right?
Definitely. I agree. It's all learning. You can only do what you can with what you've got, and the information at the time, that was the best there was. So and it's all improving every single day, even matching it to where we talked about skateboarding, the progression to Olympics. You can match that to development of diagnostic tools and things like that as well. So it's all progressive, and it's all good in a sense where if the awareness is there and you use the tools well and in a way that matches with the end goal of healing, wellness, becoming a wellness warrior, stronger every single day, it's all beneficial.
Amazing. What did your network of support look like, apart from your professional healthcare workers, those in a hospital setting, your psychologists, psychiatrists? What was your other network? What did that look like for you, and how did that help you with the healing process?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So my initial network, in addition to the medical support, was my old university friends. Absolutely amazing rock of seven friends, and also huge support was my family. Was my specifically my sister who was based in Sydney, where you are, I believe. And sorry, Chloe. And so the support was my sister. She drove she flew from Sydney to be with me in Brisbane. So that physical proximity and support was super important because the family connection was there. And even though I wasn't mentally healthy, I could still feel and sense the power of that love, in a sense, and it's beautiful, and that really was so helpful. And again, with my friends I'm in Australia, my friends in England, in various areas in England, they gave so much support over the phone, through messages, and the power, and it's such a great question as well, Felicity, the power of your network and of your support system outside of and in addition to your immediate medical support and network is so critical, and it can save lives. It can change your life, save your life, and it is a huge catalyst, and it's so important. You cannot do this alone, and that's why I feel and believe that that is a huge part of the problem is trying to do it alone. It's almost impossible.
Loneliness is a huge problem, and I think also if you're someone out there who is dealing with whether it's anxiety or depression or even suicidal tendencies, if you're alone, I think it's so important to share the message that you need to reach out, that your network is more vast than you possibly can imagine. Even if it's just one person that you can connect with, you're so lucky having those close networks of family and friendship. And fortunately for you, you were able to confidently reach out to them, to engage with them, talk to them, and to have them support you at your most vulnerable and when you really needed it. I hope that more people will learn from you that it is okay to speak up and it's okay to reach out and to connect. And if you're someone out there who's lonely and feeling isolated, that, I'd be happy to be that person to reach out to, as I'm sure you would be too, that it's a problem for some people who are so isolated, and we want to find, I think, more networks for people to engage with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that's one point to bring up as well, which is important in my opinion, is that as well as it being absolutely amazing and definitely a good thing for you to be able to reach out yourself and be confident enough to do that, and with a network or a close family member or friends, when you're in that position of ill mental health, it's very difficult to do that. And even if you do have got to the stage where you're healing and you feel like you want to do that, it's still very difficult. So this is why I'm an advocate for and promote what you suggested, Felicity, just to have someone be your buddy, be your mental health buddy, offer to do that, volunteer, because it takes two or more people to help healing and prevent suicide, prevent this tragic preventable things that can happen. And it's at the moment, as you said, in this moment in time where there's lots of people remote working, they're at home, lockdowns that are rife, it's so important, in addition to be able to potentially have that confidence to reach out and ask for help, also to always have someone that will check in on you, whether you ask for it or not.
100%. At what point, Adam, do you feel like you had gone through that transition of feeling as though you had healed, that your healing process was complete? Was there a moment in time where you felt like, I can move on now?
Good question. However, for me, it's a continuous progress. I don't ever think or feel I will get to that stage where it's healed, completing, done, tick. All right, carry on. It's it's in a sense. I understand what you're saying. Where there's definitely a point where it hit a crescendo where it's like, all right, this is an acceptable standard, the highest standard I will accept of my healing, and then there's awareness of I don't ever want it to go down too low. I don't go too high. I want to find that balance. For me, it's continual progression every single day, and it's important to realize that there's always that continual progress. And for me, that point came when I was writing my book, my first book. It's that realization, oh, I'm actually doing this. I'm helping others. I'm energized. I'm being creative. I feel amazing. I'm getting enough sleep. I'm eating healthily. I've got my mission, my vision. That is when it hit me, where I realized that I am healed. However, I cannot become complacent about it, because it's so easy to fall down. You don't sleep very well for a couple of days. It can, and I understand how my brain and my chemistry works now. If I don't get enough sleep, I can fall down from a essentially healed place to very unhealthy. So it's really important to have that awareness and have those daily habits and really focus on your mental health, physical health, sleeping regularly, sleeping really well. Everything is all connected at the same time. It's important to realize it's a process. It's a daily progress. Every single day, wake up in the morning, sun comes up, beautiful Brisbane morning. I write down 3 gratitudes every single morning. I've been doing it for about 3 years. It's these small habits that can build up exponentially over time to really help strengthen your healing and my healing and make sure that I never get to that fifth time episode. Even though I understand that there is a probability that could happen because of my the labels that have been put on me. At the same time, it's under my agency and control with the network and myself to be able to reduce that risk. At the same time, building my strength in wellness as well, and helping others in the process.
I absolutely get that it's so important not to ever become complacent. And once you build those set of techniques or those behaviour styles that help to keep you balanced, that they're important to practice every day. What are some of the things that you've put into place? You talk about writing down those 3 gratitude statements. What other elements are really important to you? And have you changed your diet? I'm really interested in things like food and mood and how that can change how you feel as well.
Yeah, definitely. Great question there. So in addition to the writing the 3 gratitudes, I also have a ritual in the morning. It doesn't really change. I get up pretty early, 4:30 in the morning. I get up, make my coffee. It's like a ritual. I grind the beans, put it in. That first sip I do before I put on any social media or devices. I sip that beautiful cup of coffee in the morning and get in the moment. Breathe. I meditate as well every single morning. That's massive, super important. I'm a massive advocate of daily meditation, whether it's for 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes. So that's what I do as well. Also, after I've had my shower in the morning, I'll do, depending if it's in Britain, if it's winter or summer, I'll do a 30-second freezing cold shower at the end, or a few seconds, 9 seconds at the moment for winter. It will change. So it's quite specific. And then also I make sure I get enough exercise. I exercise 3 times a week as a habit. And that's the minimum standard to keep my physical health and mental health. They're so connected. And also with regards to diet as well, hugely important, massively important. It's all connected. Holistic health is I take vitamin supplements, specifically that help with mental health for me and potentially other people. I definitely recommend people to look into it. Zinc and magnesium, huge. It's helped me, whether it's placebo or not, it helps my biochemistry. Zinc and magnesium have been huge for me. I also do take venlafaxine as well. It's a chemical that I've been taking for many years. It works for me. I have been reducing it as well. So the other actions that I take and behaviours is, if really finely tuned listening to my mind and my body. So, for example, I may or may not realise in the morning that I've had a good night's sleep. I realise with 2 things, if I haven't, I start to get a little bit grumpy, a little bit tetchy with things that I shouldn't, and I'm aware of that. If I miss that, my partner, beautiful partner, she'll keep me accountable. She's my part of my amazing network. She'll keep me accountable. Oh, what you're being a bit a little bit tetchy. What's up? And I'm like, oh, that's annoying, but thank you. So it's all that growth. So those are the sorts of things that definitely help. And then I'll put things in place where, right, okay, I know my priority is sleep is so important for my mental health and physical health. I will make sure I have a 10-minute nap, 20-minute nap, half an hour. And it's so important because I know sleep's important. I'll have a nap. I am a massive advocate of daytime naps. If you're an entrepreneur or, remote working, work from home, your productivity will just improve so much. If you're feeling a bit tired, didn't have a good night's sleep the night before, have a 10-20 minute nap. It will raise your mental health, your spirits, your energy levels so much. So there's that. What are the things that I do in the morning? Generally, I read as well. I read every single morning. So it's feeding, putting the input. The analogy of using your brain or mind as a computer, whatever you input in, quality stuff, output will be quality. So if instead of social media, scrolling, addiction to that, TV, I replace it with good quality I prefer non-fiction books. So I read at least a couple of chapters every single morning of a book. And then I do some creativity as well. So I do a bit of writing, a bit of journaling, so much balanced things that I do that nourishes me, gives me energy, helps my creativity, helps to improve my mental health. Daily habits, so important.
I love that you're putting so many different things into practice to all work together, and it's like a big puzzle of all these different pieces, different elements that you put together to achieve balance and good health and feeling so you're on top of everything. Lots of things there that really resonate with me. I think it's actually quite unusual in our society to hear of men who are doing so much of what you're doing, the journaling, the meditation, all of those mindfulness behaviour practices. How do you feel that other men connect with how you put into practice all of this behaviour style to achieve good health?
Yeah, that's important, because in the past it was never really a thing, because in England, in different cultures, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, it was almost in the past there was a stigma attached to not being strong or manly enough or masculine enough to talk about these things, talk about your feelings. Now there's been a great shift because of what's happening in society, and for people leading the way. For example, myself, being vulnerable, writing a book about it, getting out there, doing podcasts like this and talking about in real authentic terms what actually happened to what happened, the reality of it and how I dealt with it, and being able to share that to help other people. So the shift has been amazing, and I really welcome it. So more practically, going out and building a network. So reaching out, there's lots of apps at the moment. For example, there's a new one called Greg app. There's a mind One Giant Mind meditation. There's so much technology, so many tools available now, which is great. All it takes is just a recommendation of sharing it, or even inviting someone to have a look at the technology and app to connect people. It's a lot easier now to just send a text message or write a tweet or request someone to become an online friend, and it can go from there to actually meet up in person, build a network in Brisbane locally, for example, or also if there's nothing available at the time, definitely recommend creating it. What's to stop you from creating a group that aligns with you, that you're interested in? Say, for example, on this Greg app, I've created a skateboarding dads group. So it's because it wasn't there. I thought it was quite a cool idea and people, oh, that's amazing. There's so many dads out there that don't get to skateboard anymore. They've got lots of responsibilities. It's like, cool, let's do this. So it's really important to have that, to embrace that agency and embrace being mentally healthy, and using your mind and your actions and activities and lead yourself to enable to help others. So it's really important to create the environment of groups of men bonding, getting together, and reimagining what it is to be a man, and just share who you are. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, human. You are this beautiful entity, whatever DNA of who you are, and sharing it to the world. I really embrace that, and I am an advocate for that as well. Great question, by the way.
So possibly the 2-hour operation that you recently endured as a result of that beautiful injury and that brace that you're proudly wearing.
Yeah.
Was did that have something to do with getting out with this dad group and being a little bit maybe too adventurous on your skateboard? Tell us about how that happened.
Yeah. Well, how it happened was initially it was about probably 15 to 20 years ago. The initial start of why I had this surgery. It was in a competition, actually, in a snowboarding competition, open competition in Canada. So I was, in a group of other snowboarders, the men's section, and I was doing the practice run, going over some big jumps and doing some tricks on some rails. There was this last section which was quite tough, and it was essentially you'd snowboard and go up a rail, slide up a rail, and there was quite a large gap onto a down ramp which was actually wooden and slippy. So I what happened is I landed. This was about a long time ago, many years ago. I landed, slipped out, and damaged my elbow. And ever since then, I have essentially, it's been loose, so it's dislocated to the looseness and weakness of my elbow physically. 6 months ago, I was doing putting my shoes on quickly, and it dislocated my elbow. So it was that week where I thought, right, I need to get some surgery. So I managed to get the surgery all booked in, and I had it. This has been 2 weeks. That's why I've got an appointment today actually to see the surgeon. So that's where it came from, is probably taking a little bit too many risks. They were calculated, but at that time, it just the risk outweighed the reward at that time, because I had an injury which many years later caused me to think in the future, I need to fix this, otherwise I'll get when I'm older arthritis. I'll have to keep. It's going to be an issue. So proactively, I thought, let's get this fixed. So it's essentially healing now. It's a lot stronger. So yeah, that's where we are today with my elbow.
So if you're worried about arthritis in the future, maybe add to the zinc and magnesium some turmeric. That might help with inflammation. There's all sorts of things you can do.
Yeah, turmeric. Oh, I need to use that. I love that. I love adding that to a stir fry. Turmeric. It's a nice the colour and the little slight flavour as well. Yeah, good idea. I'm going to take that on a bit more turmeric. I add cinnamon to my coffee as well. I'm not sure if that the cinnamon.
Good anti-inflammatory properties as well, but great the turmeric for anti-inflammatory, or anything that's good in an anti-inflammatory type diet as you get older, and also great for prevention of things like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Beautiful, excellent. That's definitely great to know.
So walk me through your professional career and how you're actually impacting and empowering people across a whole range of sectors, really, through the work that you're doing now. But where did your professional career start? Yeah,
professional career. It's been quite tumultuous. It's been quite varied. So initially, I was a snowboard coach and pedagogue for multiple years. Then I moved to Brisbane, and I ended up working for one of the major banks in finance. So it kind of went from being a snowboarder to working in finance. So that's where I sort of cut my teeth into the corporate world. And then I did some customer service, some sales. So I was building some skills. And then I really enjoyed the culture of joining a company like that. So that was great. And I ended up applying when I was mentally stronger to leadership development program. So I was so grateful to get on that. So I was building my skills in my individual professional skills within the corporate environment. But then I got to the stage where I was like, this is not resonating with me. With trying to be as modest as possible, I felt deeply, this is not enough. I'm not going to be able to impact enough people in this role. So I was changing my mindset from employee to I need to start a business. I need to be an entrepreneur. I need to have agency. I don't want to be an employee anymore. So I made that shift. I quit my job. I took the leap of faith, confidence in myself, and this was few years back now, and I haven't looked back. I've been learning. I've been building my business. I've had failures. I've learned from that, and so it got to the stage where I wanted to have my own agency in decisions, building entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills, so that I can impact more people. And I'm currently building a system that can impact way more people. For example, I've started XN Mental Wealth, more from XN Force to XN Mental Wealth. So essentially, that is my business I'm building now. I've got a goal of within the next 2 to 3 years to build up a system where it's a startup as it's like, I call it the Canva of mental health. So I want to help impact businesses, leaders within businesses, so that they can use their tools to be creative for their organizations, for their teams within that mental health space, because it morphed from me individually trying to help people one-on-one, or for example, individuals. That's why I wrote my first book, to help one-on-one individuals who've going through mental health challenges, to help build their confidence and strength and power up after experiencing depression, to shifting to more workplace mental health, proactive workplace mental health, and empowering leaders and organizations to help other people so it can scale. I want to scale my impact so that I can save and change and impact 500,000 lives before I'm 100. I've called it Mission 100. So before I'm 100, I'm 42 now. I've got many years to complete that mission, and I'm energized for it.
Fabulous. I'm sure you'll get there. 100's, that's achievable and realistic when you're looking after your health every day. I come from a family myself of, history of longevity. My grandmother was 95 and she was a pacer for the Olympic swimming team. So, I'm a great believer in survival of the fittest. So definitely you're on the way. You're doing all the right things. Yes. So tell me about, I think you touched on failure. I think failure is one of those pieces that is really critical to anyone who's going to succeed, and you don't learn that until you've been there, that you're using that to actually drive your own success personally, in business, as an entrepreneur. What do you see as being your greatest failure that's helped drive success for you?
My greatest failure, I'll see if I can think of a greatest one. However, that I would say that there's so many, and they're all great because that's that incremental learning process of failure, learn, fail, learn. So, and for me, I like to embrace failure. It's and encourage it as well, because it's embracing that growth mindset. I have not created this level of impact yet. I have not learned how to scale this section of my business yet. It's all these failures where I've tried something, didn't work, and then learn from it. For example, so my greatest failure, I would say, this is it. I would say that my greatest failure is not listening to myself sooner, not trusting myself sooner, not having self-awareness sooner. I'm intuitive, and I realize this now. And an empath. I take on lots of emotions from other people, and I didn't realize that growing up. My greatest failure, and it's a good thing, is not doing that sooner. However, in hindsight, it was the right time for me to realize it, because I was ready just to make that one decision. Now, actually, Adam, you're right. You are in control of your destiny. For example, saying I am a leader, I am awesome, I am confident. And really feeling it, not just hearing the words, really feeling it here. So my initial biggest failure, which is a good thing, in hindsight, is not listening to myself. 100%, I would, about 50% I would. Now I feel or sense something, and I really tune in and really listen to myself to make those value-driven and mission-driven decisions, and it's a massive thing. So I'm a huge proponent of fail forward, progress, growth mindset, grow. If you're not failing, you need to be trying harder. And I even push myself as well. I've sometimes too much physically, taking too many risks. It's having finding that balance. At the same time, I embrace failure, and failure is a great thing, and it's a good thing. And I like to change the word as well, because the words can be quite very powerful, empowering or not. So failure, let's recalibrate what failure means. How many times? I love that question as well, by the way. Let's do. What's your greatest failure? I love the combination of greatest failure. Love it.
I'm such a believer in failure being the one thing that can sometimes catapult us to success. And when you look back with hindsight, you reflect on all of those things that shape you, whether it's the one failure or many of them, that can really just leverage wherever you're taking your pathway in life. I actually love also those I am statements, and maybe adding to those 3 gratitude statements, whether it's journaling, but it's empowering if you take a moment to have a bit of visualization around who you are and saying, I am capable, or whatever it is. I think that's a really beautiful thing to add in, and I love the way that you express that as well.
Thank you.
So I want to hear a little bit more about your book and what inspired the first book, what shaped the first book, and how is that actually helping people here and now?
Definitely. So what inspired that was using a vehicle of a book to reach more people. Initially, the story came, and the action came, and the decision from years ago attending a personal development event in Brisbane, actually, and it was a guy called Jerry Roberts, if I'm not mistaken. He's a publisher and a speaker, and he was speaking at the event, and I was a great speaker, great public speaker. I'm really inspired by how people speak, and because I would like to improve my skills there. So I was inspired by this gentleman, and he was saying the power of writing, the power of books is way closer, a lot closer than a lot of people think. Because in my mind, in the past, I thought, I'd love to be an author. I'd love to be able to write a book. And then that limiting belief would pop in and be aware of it. Oh no, you can't. You're not a writer. You're not an author. But then when this gentleman was speaking, he said, "It's simple. There's a process. There's a formula to it, and I can help you." So my ears perked up, and I was listening. All you need to do is have this system, write. You have your subject, have your audience, have a format. 10 sections, and it really made sense to me because I love that structure. How my mind works, I don't have much structure in there, and I really appreciate the external structure that gave me. Went to one of his boot camps. It was a 2 or 3 day weekend, and then after that started the process. That was a catalyst for me writing the book. So I started the journey. I gave myself a ridiculous time frame. Let's do it in 3 months. In hindsight, ridiculous. So I thought, I'm going to write this. I gave myself a goal, 3 months, write the book. Ended up writing it. I'd wake up every morning, daily. I'd write a little section of it, structure it. Took me about probably 18 months or less, about a year to 18 months to write it. So that was that's where it started, and it came from a place of wanting to push myself out of my comfort zone, build something, create something that will be able to help other people and act as a vehicle. You can get it in digital format, audio book format, hard book copy, and it's also I've been able to leverage the content from there to help other people, when they're scrolling on their social media, to be able to use the content to reach more people, to draw them into the message of you can power up, you can become confident after having depression. Because after my experience, I had no job, I had no confidence, I felt weak mentally and physically. horrible place to be, and I wanted to show and share people steps and the process of one person can do it, you can do it. It's empowering, and I want to share that with other people, and that's what brought the book on, and I'm so glad that I did it, because I'm getting people even now reaching out. I've read your book. It's really helped me, and writing reviews on it, and even now sometimes I forget about it, because I'm working on my second book, and I'm having people. So I'm doing a talk on for Are You OK Day for a business next week, and they said, I was listening to your audiobook, and it is real. They wrote capital REAL. It is real. Thank you. And it's really great to keep getting that, getting the feedback and the from how the book is being received, and it's always going to be there.
Fantastic. I actually enjoyed starting to listen to it myself. I was listening to it on Spotify, so congratulations on putting it out as an audio book too. I think it's really great sometimes when you don't have enough time to read consistently. I love being able to listen to it, and hearing you narrate it is a really great way of just engaging and hearing from you when you read it. Just awesome. I love it. So something else that I'm really interested in, Adam, I noticed that you're engaging or involved with or taking on some kind of a role with the Freemasons, and
yes.
It's a fascinating secret code and a secret world. Tell me what drew you to the Freemasons, and what can you share with us about that secret community?
I'm so glad you asked that, because it does link gently to what we were talking about earlier with networking, building a network, having a trusted group of friends and male friends. That is a huge part of Freemasonry, and I'm so grateful and glad that I reached out and got involved with the Freemasons. So in regards to secrets, just sharing that, you've got there's stigmas around secret societies. Just wanted to put it out there now that Freemasons, we are not a secret society. We are a society with secrets, and and I can share a few, not secrets, but at the same time I can share the environment and the benefits of it as well. So it came from me, again, what we talked about, wanting to reach out, build a network, initially, this was my initial thought, and this is where it started, was I wanted to build a network for my business. And I thought, someone mentioned Freemasons, and I thought, that sounds really cool. This is my immediate thoughts. The secret society, like you said. What's all these handshakes? And I was intrigued. This is initially the intrigue. And then someone mentioned, have you heard of Freemasons? I was like, yeah, I have. I'm quite intrigued about it. And then in my mind, I was like, this could be quite a good solution to be able to get out of my comfort zone, meet other men, meet other people who are who I thought were, esteemed gentlemen in their own right. That was my assumption. So I looked on the website, UGLQ website, which is the United Grand Lodge of Queensland, which is the body in Queensland website. I was so impressed. It had these quotes of Benjamin Franklin and all these amazing human beings that happen to be men who were doing amazing things, have done amazing things. And I thought, why not? Let's dive in. And so dove in. And it's been about 4 years, and it's one of my top 3 things that I do, that I'm a part of, that I contribute to, that helps my personal growth, that helps my leadership journey, helps my spiritual journey, and it's absolutely amazing. So I initially joined. It's quite a process. To give you a bit of information, it starts with you basically you can't recruit. You're not supposed. You don't recruit. You have to actually reach out, and I reached out. So it takes. It's, for example, I'll give you a few pointers here. So I'm mindful of not sharing too much, but at the same time, so I had 3 Freemasons come and join me for a meeting, just to make sure the values aligned. Great, beautiful, amazing people. And then I had to do a police check. I had to have 4 referees making sure my character was good. Then the group it's broken into lodges. So lodges are essentially groups of men, 7 or more men. So it's 7, or you can go up to 50 or 100, and they're all there's over 300 lodges, groups of lodges in Queensland. There's around about 7 million Freemasons in the world. Anyway, so it got to the stage where I went through all the process. It took about 6 months to a year, and I was accepted. It's balloted for. Everyone has to vote and make sure that they accept. Everyone is, they call it on the level, which means that every human being, soul person, is equal to one another. So that is hugely important. Whether you're a cleaner, which is an amazing contribution to society, or a high level CEO, you are all on this is the belief, you're all on the level. You all have an equal vote in who joins, who comes in, who contributes. And so this is just to share how important Freemasonry is to me in my life. That one of the top 3 is when I did the initiation. It's a beautiful ceremony to initiate a brother into Freemasonry. My top experience in life, my son, he's 7 now, being born, beautiful, amazing, crying my eyes out, just so much love. The second thing was me being initiated into Freemasonry. So that's how powerful it is, and was, and continues to be. So and those are the secrets I got, and it's for a reason. That is a sacred space that's shared by initiates of Freemasonry. Beautiful, and there's lots of different aspects to it. I could talk for a long time about Freemasonry. Yeah, it is beautiful. There's the amazing thing as well. This is huge. It doesn't get talked enough about, and I agree. It needs to be more. Is around about probably 33% of Freemasonry is charitable work, charity. Amazing, and I'm involved in that as well. Having said that, I'm doing a run. I'm doing the Bridge to Brisbane for the Freemasons Queensland group. We did the charity group for charity for Are You OK? Actually, the group, and I'm grateful that it's been postponed, the event because of COVID. So I'll be able to run for that. So I'm doing that. That's with the Freemasons Queensland group. So a lot for charity. We raise millions for charity every year, and just the leadership, public speaking, the stepping out of the comfort zone. It's almost like it's my sister in Sydney. She's part of a women's circle. I see it as like, this is men's circle. This is a type of men's circle which is so beautiful and strong, and the fraternity and the brotherly love it transcends external career environment, mental health stuff. It's just it is a beautiful environment. I'm glad you asked that question, because it's a huge part of my life, and it's probably one of the top 3 things. One last thing that I've learned from it, and this is what I think about daily. This is encouraged by Freemasonry as well. Number 1 should be your family. I agree. Number 2, work, your life's work, what you do for work, for a living. Number 3, Freemasonry. It's always got to be in the after those 2 important things.
I think it really highlights the sense of community and how we are rebuilding, re-engaging and understanding that need for our network of support around us and engaging with communities, which I absolutely love. We have our own very spectacular Weight Loss Warriors community, which is really important to me, because it's all about creating a space that is somewhere where people feel safe, where they're able to speak their mind and connect with like-minded others. So I really love that, and I respect that there's a need for that. I could talk forever, and I think possibly we're going to have to do a second episode of this podcast. But
it's been great.
I'd love to finish off with a question that I ask all of my podcast guests, and with you, I actually feel like I know the answer. But I'd love to know from you, what does wellness mean to you?
Wellness to me means loving yourself and helping others to love themselves in a beautiful cycle of love and strength and health and mental health, physical health. It's all connected. For me, wellness is a continual cycle, sphere of strength and energy and beauty and love and all those good things. Be well. Wellness is all around, and it's in every single one of us. And once you empower yourself to help yourself and in turn help others, this strength can only be improved and scaled and built and shared.
Beautiful. Adam Bowcutt, thank you so much for joining me on the Wellness Warriors podcast. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today.
You're so welcome. It's been absolutely great. Thanks so much for this too.
Thank you for joining the Wellness Warriors podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you online with us. If you enjoyed the series, please leave your review, subscribe and follow, and we look forward to sharing many more stories with you in the future.